What Justice League's post-credit scene means for the DCEU. Last night, Warner Brothers released the latest film in the DC Extended Universe, Justice League, and most fans agree that, while not perfect, the movie was a fun step in the right direction for the usually gritty franchise, and most are actually kind of excited to see where the DCEU takes us next. In fact, we actually may have an idea of where the DCEU will take us next thanks to the two post-credit scenes. One was just a little bit of fun, but the second one has already got the internet buzzing like a swarm of parademons, which means it is time for us to break it down. Now, before we get going, we should warn you that this episode of Nerdist News contains spoilers, so if you haven't seen Justice League yet, like me, who's going to spoil this for myself,
sorry,
whatever, you might want to pull a Superman and sit most of this one out. So let's just hold on to that spoiler warning for a few moments. Great. Now, to catch everyone up, the first post-credit scene was just a quick comedic one featuring a race between Superman and the Flash. While a fun callback to the comic books, it probably has very little to do with the future of the cinematic universe unless DC really wants to do an adaptation of Superman 199 where Kal-El and Flash decide to do a charity race for the United Nations. So let's take a look at the all-important second one, which takes us to Lex Luthor's prison cell in Arkham. The prison guards are checking in on old Lexi, and we see that he's been replaced by some other laughing bald weirdo. We then see the real Lex Luthor lounging around on the nicest yacht that illegally obtained money can buy. He's then visited by longtime DC supervillain Deathstroke, played by Magic Mike's Joe Manganiello. The scene ends with Lex Luthor telling Deathstroke that it's time for the world's supervillains to create a league of their own. Now, aside from making the "there's no crying in supervillainy" jokes,
there's no crying in baseball!
Where will the DCEU go with this bombshell, and who else will be part of this evil team of super bad guys? Longtime comic readers might suspect that Lex and Deathstroke's bromance will lead to the formation of the secret society of supervillains. Deathstroke and Lex were founding members of one version of the society, along with Calculator, Dr. Psycho, Talia al Ghul, and Black Adam. And with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson recently rumored to take the role of Black Adam in the upcoming Suicide Squad 2 film, the society could be exactly what the DCEU is cooking.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking!
But another direction they could be going with this supervillain team-up is the other evil team, the Injustice League. Lex's exact words were that they should create a league of their own. He said league, y'all! That's either foreshadowing the Injustice League or a villainous baseball team, which would still be totally awesome. However, with 20 members, the Injustice League might be a little unwieldy to add to DC's film universe, but with Lex Luthor, the Joker, Deathstroke, and Harley Quinn among the League's members, we could see them going in that direction with an extra addition or two. So what other team does that leave? Why, none other than the Super Friends adversaries themselves, the Legion of Doom.
The Legion of Doom.
Founded in 1978, the Legion of Doom harkens back to the campy 1970s DC Comics universe. Fans have noted that with the Justice League movie, the DC movies appear to be more fun than Man of Steel and the very gritty Batman vs. Superman. In fact, this might be how that first post-credit scene is slightly more important than we previously thought. A Superman-Flash foot race has to be the most lighthearted thing that we've ever seen from the DCEU, and to end the film on that note seems to send a pretty clear message about the direction the franchise is headed. So if the DCEU really wants to follow that path, they'd cast Toyman, Solomon Grundy, Brainiac, Bizarro, and even Gorilla Grodd and cram them all into a skull-shaped Hall of Doom located smack dab in the middle of Slaughter Swamp. Now, the likelihood of them taking the DCEU in a total Super Friends direction is a little low, but that would be f***ing awesome.
The Legion of Doom is now in session.
One thing that we can all agree on is that if there's one aspect the DCEU has over Marvel's cinematic universe, it's their awesome villains. From the Joker to Catwoman to Darkseid to Poison Ivy, DC's bad guys are some of the most complex and fun characters in all of comics. No matter which team-up they choose, we're sure it'll be something fans everywhere will line up behind, unless they use Steppenwolf again. Right, Joss? But what do you folks think? Did you love the Justice League movie? Which supervillain team-up do you think we'll be seeing in the DCEU? And who do you think won the race between the Flash and Superman? Let's discuss! Be sure to like and subscribe, and guess what? My comic book Firebrand just got picked up for a second season on Webtoons along with 2 new comics, Rob and Cursed. Keep your eyes peeled for their debuts next year, and just a quick reminder, we will be doing an early edition of Nerdist News Talks Back for our special Justice League breakdown episode this coming Monday. We will be live at 11 a.m. PT, so make sure and set your alarms. See you guys then.